Exclamation, everybody, and welcome to Legend of Keepers. It is by Goblin's Studio, and it is in early access right now on Steam, currently 10% off at $17.99 US, normally 20 bucks US. If you have played Darkest Dungeon or Aratus Lord of the Dead, this game, both gameplay-wise and UI-wise, will be very, very similar to things you've played. I'm going to try to time box this though, and try to keep this video as short as I can. So let's just jump in immediately. You see, I've done a little bit off camera. I'm gonna start a new save though for all of us. So I don't want to do the tutorial because I know what I'm doing. Slaveholder is the only one I have unlocked right now, so we're gonna confirm him. And yeah, I don't have any talent points or anything. Game mode, we're going to do custom, and I'll do normal this time around. I was doing easy before. I'll do normal this time, which puts everything in the middle here. So, all right. So the object of this game is that you are a keeper, a dungeon keeper, and you actually work for this organization. You are assigned a middle manager who kind of lays out all your tasks for, you know, what you have to do. Basically, you have a bunch of minions that are your employees, and you have a treasure that you're supposed to protect against adventurers and other goody two-shoers. And you have to go for an entire year, 52 weeks. Each week you'll get usually a choice of things to do. What we're going to do right now is pop right into a dungeon here. So we have to protect this dungeon. We have to... these adventurers are going to come in. So Zardnan, Sa, and Karen. They're going to try to steal our treasure. And I have to use my monsters to prevent them from doing these things. So let's do... So this is a priestess. She's got 190 hit points. She has 145 morale. So again, if you're familiar with Darkest Dungeon, you know if you knock someone's morale down to 0, they'll run away in fear. And there's actually 2 different resources you can gather in the game. One is blood. Whenever you kill an adventurer, you gain some blood, which is a currency. And there's another kind of currency called tears, and tears obviously you get by making them run away crying to mommy. So either one of those can be a valid strategy. As we're starting off here, it's usually easier to kill than to get them to run away. But you know, because I don't really have the monsters necessarily that will do it. But she's got 45 air damage to the person in the front. And her skill is she replaces one of her penalties with a bonus at the start of her turn. So, okay, we'll see what that means. You can see she's weak to fire and nature attacks, but strong to ice. And she's 15% armor and 25% air there. She's level 1 priestess. This guy is a level 1 exile. He's got 165 hit points. I think 45 is the amount of physical damage they do, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, I'm sorry, that's 45 is just their base damage. He does 45 air damage as well, but he does it to the back, the person standing in the back. He also applies tiredness to the person in the back. Damage dealt reduced by 20%, max 70%. And he's got a skill that gives 50% morale back to one hero after a fight. So trying to take these people's morale down is not really going to work so well, because if they get past these 3 monsters that I pick, then they're just one of them's going to get 50% of their morale back. This one is a scout, a ranged archer here. Does 40 physical damage to the back row, and dodges the effects of the first trap. So whenever we put a trap down, they will dodge it. So we might want to take them out first, just, you know, to knock their numbers down. So we've got Swaz, who does nature damage to the front row, which applies poison for 3 turns, or can do 35 physical damage to the person in the back row. You in the back row. See, I don't know what their weakness to, if they're weak to physical or not. It doesn't actually say anything here, so I think just physical is just plain old physical. You can't really tell. You just take that damage. I can't really tell if they have any armor or anything. But you've got 140 hit points. That's not really going to help much. But the poison does help quite a bit. Do you have poison counts as nature damage? She's got negative 45% nature damage, so it'll do even more damage to her than it will the other two. So having this guy in the front might actually be a good idea. Although he's only got 45 hit points, whereas Argug, who is an orc, has got 120 hit points. But he is weak to fire. He does physical damage to the person in the front, with applying bleeding to them for 2 turns, or can do an area of effect thing that will reduce the morale of everyone by 15%, or 15 points, I mean. You are... Like, all these guys are doing air damage. What does his air is minus 25%, and he's minus 40% air, so it's it's a little bit rough on both fronts there. This guy, though, is my ice dude, and he doesn't care about air at all. He does not do well against fire, but I don't think any of these guys have any fire damage. So putting this guy up front actually is probably a good idea. But he only does damage to the back row, 50 ice damage, and then he's got area of effect that will slow everyone by 40 points, but for 3 turns. And then Mandible is my archer, my skeleton archer, and he's got nature damage as well, mostly poison stuff. He's got an area of effect that does poison 2 on all of them. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to put Ilra in the front. I think I'm going to put Swaz in the middle, and I'm going to put Mandible at the end. Alright, we'll move to the next part of the dungeon, which is a trap. You can see up here the different areas of the dungeon. So here's our opportunity to wear down the do-gooders a little bit more. Now obviously this person, if they're still alive, will dodge the effects of this first trap. So what I could do is I could use a circular assault, which does area of effect damage. It does 10 physical damage to all the characters and causes them bleeding. Or I can hold on to that and just put some poison darts in the first person in the front, which does 40 nature damage. Which these guys, I mean, if this guy's the one in the front, it's not going to do much to him because he's got some resistance to nature damage, but if she's still alive and kicking, which she probably will be, then it would do quite a bit. There's also the Bone Catapult, which just does morale damage to all of them. And the Rallying Horn actually doesn't damage the... it doesn't damage the heroes. It instead buffs all of my monsters coming up. But I think I'm gonna put a poison dart here for now. Now the next room is just an empty one. That is a place for me as the dungeon keeper to wear them down directly by casting some sort of magic spell on them. You'll see that as we go. This room always exists in every dungeon. So the trap rooms and the monster rooms kind of rearrange themselves a little bit, but there's always at least one of these. So we get another trap room. Let's put the circular saw in this one. And then we get some more monsters as their last line of defense before they get to me, the master. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the big heavy hitter up front, I think. So Ba, who does 50 physical damage and applies broken armor to the front, or could do 38 physical damage with a stun. So we'll put him there. What is Harith? Harith does air damage. Do these guys, since these guys do a lot of air damage, do they have a lot of air resistance? They do. Well, this one doesn't, but those do. I could do morale damage with ward, or I can get some fire damage up in this place. So I got two that do air damage, which isn't great. Based on these heroes that are here. But I can... What I'll do is I'll put Duvius here, and I'll put Paf or whatever in the back here, because she can actually do haste to the monsters in front of her. So she'll do 18 air damage as an area of effect over here, but then also buff these guys up with some speed if need be. So that sounds like a good idea. And then there's me guarding the chest. Alright, now we take control of our dudes. So we're going to poison dagger her. Oh, Archer took out my... Oh, that's horrible. Wow. Wow. Alright, I was hoping to have more luck than that, but let's do an ice block here. Alright, well, this is a thing. There's some poison on the one in front. And just got two more turns for poison. Alright, so what do I do? Do I do a Burning Whip, which will... You can see what it's going to do to the enemy, to the heroes here, when you roll over it. The Burning Whip will kill her straight out. Show No Mercy will enrage my next group of monsters, which I might need to do. Or Intimidation, which cuts into their morale. Only minus 20 morale. You can see what it does there, which doesn't do much. They have a lot of morale. I think I'm going to do the Enrage. Seems like the right thing to do right now. Given that she's pretty much dead, because she's going to have all those debuffs against her. Alright, Gusts. Air damage, Whirlwind, the front. I guess we'll do the area damage rather than Whirlwind. Alright, Fireball will kill that chick in the back right off. So let's do that. Oof. Okay, we got Wild Strike, which will kill her, or Stunner. Also kill her, so it doesn't really matter which one we do. Alright, Fireball. And let's do a Stunner. Wasn't really necessary because we killed him. So there we go. Alright, so we killed the heroes. We got 15 blood from that. And we successfully defended them. The idea, which I haven't really conveyed yet, is that you really want to kill the heroes before they get to you, the boss. Because how long you play is really determined by how much health your boss has. And your Master doesn't regenerate health. He regenerates health, but very, very slowly over the weeks. So you want to make sure that you are protecting him as much as possible. So Aegis Artifact, creatures gain 10 armor. That might actually be really good. Crystal Skull, 50% chance that monsters killed come back to life as a skeleton warrior. Ooh, that's interesting. Or Scepter of Destiny, monsters have 20% chance to start each fight with a random bonus. No, I think I want to go with the base armor gain, so we'll take that. Alright, so this motivation screen, you're probably asking, what does this mean? Well, whenever a monster dies, they get a little bit demotivated because, they die, they go to a pleasant, afterlife, and then our witch doctor brings them back to life, drags them back, kicking and screaming, to whatever undeadness they are. And so they get kind of bummed out. And whenever they die, they lose 2 motivation. And if their motivation goes down to 0, then they're forced onto the bench. And sometimes that will take like 7 to 10 weeks that they could be on the bench for. So what you really want to do is you want to swap them out as you can, give them a little bit of a break, because it'll still take like a battle or 2 for them to get back to health, but it's better to do it that way than to be forced to have them out of commission for a much longer time. So if we go to our employees here, you can see we got our garrison and we got a stock of traps and everything. So what I could do is swap some of these guys out into the garrison if I want to try to get them, healed up a little bit. So I think what we'll do is we'll put Swuz up over there, because he is kind of redundant, because he with Argug, and we have another guy who does nature damage as well, assuming I can get a shot off edgewise. And then I can swap these guys around too to kind of balance out who is eligible for room 1 and who's eligible for room 2. I think what I want to do is I think I'm going to rest you as well. And I think I'm going to bring... So since you do morale damage, I think you're better off in room 1 anyway. Because if we're going to do morale damage, then we're going to have to do it from the very beginning, I would say. So this seems about right for now. Alright. So week 2, we get a choice of what we want to do. The merchant allows us to buy traps. The trainer allows us to spend our gold to train our monsters up to a new level. And the engineer allows us to spend gold to upgrade our traps. I think the important thing right now is training. So let us do what we do here. So Argug, if we train him, his health will go up by 15, and his area of effect damage will go up, it looks like. He'll also gain a 50 physical damage dealt increased by 50% if the target is affected by bleeding. Right, so he'll get this other ability that says that if the target is already bleeding, which he creates bleeding from this one, then he'll do 50 damage. Well, he'll do basically 75 damage to the target. It'll be increased by 50%, or he'll just do 50 damage if there's no bleeding. So that's kind of a good thing. So let's train him up. Lord, you will get more damage from the morale thing there, plus you'll get some more health. I mean, we should probably look at morale stuff too, because it's a valid thing to really start chopping away at. You will get a new passive called Demoralized. All heroes at the start of the gargoyle's turn. Interesting. -5 morale on the next turn. Mandible. You will get more damage. So you'll go up to 50. You'll get 15 more damage. Assuming I can actually get you to actually fire off at some point. You will gain a new thing for the person in the front, since you only attack in the back right now. So that might be a good one. So we'll do that, and that's all the gold I've got right now. Okay, and then that's week 2. It was on week 3. Then go to the alchemist, who will transmute blood, tears, or gold into another resource. So basically, if I need tears for something, I can transmute blood into tears. Or if I need gold, I can transmute blood into gold, or gold into blood, or one of those things. I'm not going to worry about that. We can just do a random event, which is deal with office troubles and the business work environment, for better or for worse. Let's do that. Garbage chute. The workers' union has made a request, an anonymous suggestions box for the employees. Even if they can't write, the simple gesture will boost morale. They don't need to know that the suggestions box will empty straight into the trash. +1 motivation for all available monsters. But it costs 150 gold, which I don't have, so I'm going to have to refuse. No suggestions box for them. And the game is very, very tongue-in-cheek with all of that. So it's, even if this is not the type of game that you would normally go for, the humor in it is pretty good. I had an event while I was playing this off camera where one of my employees went into the janitor's closet and just decided to go for a taste test and ended up getting +1 strength for that. So, it's pretty, it's does not take itself incredibly seriously or anything like that. So it's kind of cool from that perspective too. So we got a collectors. So the collectors are basically tax collectors. They are vampires, as you might imagine. So very, very true to life. So you can pay them either in gold, or if you have enough blood, you can pay them in blood, and they will go away and not ask you for any gold. Or you can choose something else here. Can't do merchant. That's what this little thing means. I don't have enough resources for what he's trying to sell me. So let's do an event instead. Thigh supplier. Supplier is offering you some human thighs to feed your employees at a discount price. It would greatly reduce your feeding expenses, and you know that the management would grant you a sweet salary bonus. So cool, we accept that, and we get 347 gold for accepting that. We save some money, friends. All right, week 5, we got some adventurers to fend off, and it's a 1 crown one. So there are different kinds of adventurers. So at first they started off with like the 1-star adventurers. Then there's, I think, well, not journeyman, but there's like a second tier. I think it's veterans, and then there are like seasoned adventurers, and there's a huge jump in difficulty between those. And at some points, you'll actually, as you get further along, you can actually choose between which type you want to take on. But eventually, you get to a point where you will only get like veterans coming in and stuff that you have to deal with. So, what we got here? Zardanin is a priestess. She does air damage. Replaces one of her penalties with bonus. Okay, this is basically the same as the other one. Elf is a healer. An elf healer, huh? 190 hit points. Man, everybody's got so many hit points. I played this off camera. I played it on easy, and I'm like having sticker shock here at what the jump is from easy to normal, because there was very few people on easy, very few enemies on easy that had 100 or more hit points, and this one is like crazy pants. She could do 20 ice damage and applies elemental weakness to the entire row of enemies, or to my entire row of monsters. So basically she can reduce my monster's resistances to everything by 20, and she heals 50% of one hero's maximum life after a fight. So the first thing they're going to do is have a trap here, and that trap's not going to kill them, and she's going to heal whoever got injured by it, or at least one of them who got injured by it. So that's going to suck a whole lot. So I better do an area of effect trap, because that way I'll at least get some kind of damage here. And then we got a plain old scout in the back again. 40 physical damage, and dodges the effects of the first trap. So yeah. I still have to do an area of effect trap, but she's not going to get hurt by it at all. So let's do the circular saw. Alright, now we got some monsters. Rain up some monsters. So you do air, you do ice, you do physical. So I guess ice. My ice guy should still probably go in front then, I think. So put him there. What is their morale? 145, 190, and 130, huh? I guess I could try to do the whole morale thing, I guess. So what we'll do is minus 20 morale, nature damage. How do they do? So you don't like nature damage. You don't mind it, and you're buffed to it a little bit. Okay, let's put Mandible and then Ward. And we'll see what happens. I mean, you attack the back for 40, right? What do you have? 50 hit points. Great. You attack the area, and you attack the front. Yeah. Well, if I had put this guy back there, she would have killed him straight out again, which I should have looked at before, but, you know, that's on me. Alright, we'll confirm that. And then we need another trap. Let's do Poison Dart, I think. And then we got a spell room and then more monsters. I've only got 3 here, so we gotta put them all down. Just gotta put them down in the right spots here. So you attack the front. You've got the most hit points, right? So I should probably put you in the front. You have 60 hit health. You have 70. So what I will do is I'll put you in the middle. And I'll put you in the back. Alright. And they're going to come to me. Unless we stop them ahead of time. Okay, so what do we got here? Scare. Oh, Scare only applies to the front, huh? Spectral Wave applies to the back. 15 morale. 40 air damage. Do you take air damage? You take air damage at normal pace. Okay. I wonder if I should do that. I think I will do that. Okay. 15 nature damage. Or we can do Toxic Volley, which does 15. So the 50 goes to the back there. Is she the most... She's not really the most... She's not the one I'm worried about the most. I kind of want to do an area of effect here. Let's do that. Okay. Ice damage, freezing breath, which will reduce their speed by 40, which means we might be able to get another... what is their speed? I wish I knew. Is it 55? So 55. Wait a minute. So your speed is 35. Your speed is 55. Your speed is 95. You are 40 and you are 80. So if I take 40 off of that, so will you get another turn is what I'm asking. So you got 40. So you would go before her. You would go before her. And she would still go first, which sucks. Well, she would be at 55. You would be at 80. So you're still going to go first. So you'll get a shot off anyway. So let's do that then. Wait, how did you get to go first? Oh, how did you buff yourself? Huh. Oh, I guess because you hadn't gone yet in the last turn, I guess. Okay. I'm like, what is going on here? Should I do a Toxic Volley against all of them, or should I just knock her down? Because when I do this to her, she's definitely going to die going forward. But if I do this, I believe it stacks, right? So let's do the whole volley. Make sure they get lots of poison against them. Alright. I could further reduce their speed, or I can just do an ice block. Well, the ice block will definitely kill her, so let's just do that. Okay. Alright, Burning Whip should kill this chick, right? So let's do that. Bam. 2 down. Nightmare, area of effect. Sharp horns, air damage, applies bleeding 3. Yep, we'll do that. Fireball, yep. Cool, there we go. So, I get the pick here. I get a succubus, fire damage in the front, nature damage in front, with a poison of 3 turns, and a passive. Attacks jump to the hero position behind the target if the target's armor is positive. Ooh, that's interesting. So if they have a positive armor rating, then my attack will do damage to them and to the next person in a row. That's interesting. Fire elemental, fire damage, and fire damage. I got guys that are doing fire damage, so let's take the succubus. Well, that sounds interesting to me. Alright, so Swizz and Pahaf have recovered. I think Mandible and Ilra are going to need to swap out, I think. Let's go do that right now. Also, my succubi, I feel like she should go in room 1. She's got 70 hit points. Yeah, I feel like I should put her in room 1 here. Let's get Mandible healing up. Let's get Ilra healing up. Let's put don't put Swizz there. Let's put him in room 2. And yeah, you'll go in room 1, I think. I think that's what I want to do. Well, I got 2 guys here that do... You only do 45 health. But I don't have anyone else in the back who does nature damage, so maybe that will work for now. Yeah, let's go with that for the moment. Okay, I think I need to... I want to improve my traps, I think, a little bit. So let's do that. And what does that go to? 30 physical damage. What does this one go? 50 nature damage. Let's upgrade the circular saw. Let's upgrade the poison dart. I don't really use these other ones. I mean, they're nice. Bone catapults and rallying horn are nice, but I don't really use them. The rallying horn is kind of redundant anyway, since I could enchant or send enrage to my guys. I mean, I guess it's better in that it does morale damage, but it's not that big a deal, I feel like. Alright. We got those up to level 2. Let's take an event. An employee has spilled a burning hot drink on you in front of the blood fay machine. Puck my life. 90 damage taken. So here's my... I should have mentioned this too. Here's my hero, my slave holder, my dungeon keeper. You see he's got 900 health and he gets plus 9 life per week. He's going to take 90 damage now. So this is basically how long you've got to go, right? He's the glass cannon, as it were. So you got to keep him healthy, or else you're not going to make it to the end of the year. So we can go to the trainer, or we can go on a business trip. Choose an employee to protect the sales department during a business trip. This, basically, business trip means one or multiple of your monsters are basically going to go away for a couple weeks and protect upper management. So they basically rotate out of your, they cycle out of your, you can't use them anymore. They go into your garrison. You can't use them for a certain number of weeks. And you get, obviously you get a reward for it, but it's a bit early to be taking monsters out of my queue because I need them right now. So we're going to do trainer instead. And I am going to, what do you get? You get more damage. Sort of. You get more physical damage, kind of. Demoralized, right? And then you'll get more morale damage. You will get more morale damage. You get more resistances, nature and fire, but you're still negative on both. You get a lot of things. I think I'm going to train you. You know you're expensive. And I just got you. Alright, so we either plunder or a business trip. Plunder means you send 3 volunteers to plunder a place of your choice. It doesn't always take 3 volunteers. Some of them are just 1 volunteer. Like this one's 1 volunteer. For 10 weeks, there's a risk of injury by 35%. And a 25% chance you'll get an artifact. This one here can give you some gold. 5% risk of injury, but you'll lose somebody for 3 weeks. And then this one is 75% risk of injury for 3 weeks, but volunteers will get +2 motivation. It's unfortunately I have to do one of these. So, I'd really rather not do any of them, honestly. But I guess we'll do the one that's 5% risk of injury and only 3 weeks. Your volunteers stole all the farm's onions. The farmer's soup will be bland. You are so cruel. They have emerged unscathed. 68 gold. Okay. Alright, and here's where we get a choice between adventurers and veterans. You can see the different rewards you get for that. I don't think we're ready for veterans, to be honest with you, so let's just stick to adventurers. Okay, what do we got? More air damage, eh? We got level 2 people now, though. It's 240 health. Thanks. So air damage. Air damage to the back. You do air damage to the front. You don't like fire or nature. You don't like ice. Gives 50% morale back to 1 hero after a fight. And then you are just your regular run-of-the-mill scout. Does 40 physical damage to the back. Alright, so whoever I put in the back is got to be... have a lot of hit points because these guys have a lot of damage that they do to the back. You are 65 speed and you're 95 speed. So what are you? You're 120 speed. 60 air damage. Applies tiredness. 38 fire damage to the front. 25 nature damage to the front. Oh, is her armor positive? It is. It is indeed. Interesting. I kind of want to put you second. You have 110 speed, so you'll go pretty much first, right? Well, yeah. You only have 50 health, so you're going to die pretty quickly. You do air damage to the back. What do you take? You take normal air damage. Morale. 170 morale. Yeah, you're not going to be... That's not going to go work out so well. You're slightly weak to air, but I feel like I should probably put you... Since you have the most hit points, I should probably put you in the back so that you absorb a whole lot of stuff. You're also the slowest. So, here's what I'm thinking. Here is what I'm thinking. Air damage. Do these guys like air? Yeah, they're pretty strong to air. But fire they don't like too much. And she's strong to air damage. So I think, and he's also strong to air damage, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go this, and this. It's probably not a good idea, but that's what I'm going to do. Do I do area of effect now, or do I do target it now? I feel like I should do area of effect first, so let's do that. And then we'll do... we'll do poison darts. And then monsters. No, I don't want you there. I want nature. Do they like nature? They're kind of on nature. You're fire. I feel like I could put the fire guy first. Air damage and bleeding. Yeah, they don't care so much about air damage. I'm gonna put you first. And then I'm gonna put you second and put you at the back. Let's see how this goes, friends. Alright, Spectral Wave does air damage and minus 15 morale. Scare. This does morale. We'll do Spectral Wave. Infernal Kiss or infection. So you don't like... You actually don't like nature. You're actually worse at nature than you are at fire. So, we'll give you infection. And it jumps. That's right, because that's the one that jumps to the other one. Cool. Alright, Scream of Terror or Cleaver or Frenzy. The target is bleeding. It would do 50% more, but the target is not bleeding. Alright, let's do Frenzy, I guess. We'll do another Spectral Wave. Okay, fire or... So what is your resistance now? 25 to nature, so you still are more weak to nature than anything else, so... There we go. Okay. Let's do an Infernal Kiss this time, because it'll do more damage to the guy in the back there. Okay. Nice. We're wearing him down pretty good, I'd say. Alright, so morale, Burning Whip. Burning Whip seems like it would be wasted, because she's already pretty much going to die. And this guy's pretty much going to die too. So let's just do Show No Mercy. Okay, Goblin Trick in the back. This guy, let's do Goblin Trick. Alright, Fireball, Fire Column, front. We'll do Fireball, I guess. Alright, Wild Strike. Done and done. Ooh, Skeleton Dog. Skeleton Dog. 30 physical damage. All monsters in the group gain enraged at the start of a fight. Ooh. Ooh, I say. I already have a bone catapult, so I don't know why I would grab another one. Or I can grab some gold. As much as the Skeleton Dog, as much as I need another minion, not too impressed by Skeleton Dog, so I think I'll take the money. There we go. Ilra and Mandible have gained some extra motivation back. Ward is going to need to get cycled out, I think. I'll leave these guys in here for now. Let's cycle Ward out. He's done some good stuff here. I'll move Harith up here, I think. Yeah, I guess I'll move him up there. Cool beans. And then we can do workout, trainer, workout, or event. But like I said, I'm going to try to time box this. I wanted to keep it to 30 minutes, but we're a little bit over. So I think we'll stop there. I think you get a good idea of how this works out. You can see there's also week 12 we get a therapist here, which basically if you select therapist, if you spend some gold, you can regain morale of all of your minions. So it's, like I said, it's very tongue-in-cheek, they got sort of like the corporate stuff going on and things like that. It's really cool. It's really nice. Even if you're not, like I said, a fan normally of a game like this, the humor and stuff helps to soften the blow and keep you going, as it were. There is some Twitch integration too, which will give some of the monsters, like your viewers, names and stuff like that. And I think it gives the Twitch viewers some control over what's going on and all that stuff. But anyway, let's go back to the main menu. Whoop. Confirm. This, my friends, has been Legend of Keepers. It is by Goblin's Studio, and it is in early access on Steam right now. Currently 10% off at $17.99 US, normally $20 US, and it's a lot of fun. Like I said, if you've played Darkest Dungeon or Lord of the Dead or Aratus Lord of the Dead, you'll be very familiar with this, and this is probably right up in your alley. And even if those games are not the type that you really like, you might enjoy the humor in this. So, and it's still early access, so there's still some work to be done on it. And obviously there's also a modding section that will be supported at some point in the future. So all good things all around, friends. As always, I will leave links down in the description so you can do your own due diligence. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.